May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Please state your name for the record.
Judy Terell,
And Ms. Terrell, where do you live?
Wauchula.
And how?
My
Go ahead.
physical address,
No, that's fine. Wauchula's fine. And how long have you lived there for?
70-something years,
And so a little while. How are you currently employed?
retired.
So, excuse me, what did you used to do?
I was a school teacher,
And how long did you do that for?
38 years,
And was that also in Wauchula?
yes.
And do you know a person by the name of Tracy Nix?
Yes, I do.
Who is that?
The defendant.
Okay. I just meant, who is that to you? How do you know her?
Oh, okay. A friend. I've known her 40 years or so.
Okay. And did you know her through your job or?
I knew her through my job. I knew her through my church.
And through your church. So did you also spend time with her through the church?
Did I spend time with her through the church? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And do you also know, or did you know a person by the name of Yuri?
Yes.
I think sometimes called Yuri.
Yuri.
And who was that?
That was Tracy's granddaughter, Kayla's daughter.
And ma'am, I'd like to go back to November 1st of 2022, if that's okay. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
Do you recall spending time with Miss Tracy Nix that day?
Yes.
When was the first time that you spent time with her that day?
At our prayer group on Tuesday morning.
And when you say Tuesday morning, approximately when did that usually happen?
10:30ish.
Okay. And I take it a group implies there were several people there?
Yes.
Let me make it easier. Was there a group from your prayer group that you later met up with that day?
Yes.
Okay. Who was that? Who was in that group?
By name?
Yes.
Okay, Gail Knight, Brenda Knight, myself, and Tracy.
Okay. So how did it come to be that you guys met up after the prayer group?
Well, as we normally do, after we have been there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, several of us want to go eat. And so we said, let's go eat.
And was there a place decided upon?
Yes,
Where was that?
Beef O'Brady's.
And so how is everybody going to get to Beef O'Brady's?
Tracy Kayla had asked Tracy to take Yuri. And so Gail went with Tracy, and Brenda wanted to change clothes. So I said, I'll wait and I'll take Brenda and I'll come later. Or we'll come as soon as Brenda gets there.
Okay, so you two are going to meet up with Tracy Nix and Gail
Gail,
at Beef's. Who got there first?
We did. Brenda and I did.
And do you know, and I know it's 2 years ago, and it's asking a lot, but do you recall roughly about what time you got there?
It would have had to have been after 12.
Okay, good enough. And let me ask you this, and we'll get there in a moment, but you do know when you left, though, right?
Definitely.
Okay. We'll talk about that in a moment. So you said it was, I'm sorry, Barbara?
Brenda.
Brenda, I'm sorry. You and Brenda get there first. Does Tracy and Gail eventually show up?
Yes.
And is anybody with Tracy Nix other than Gail?
Yuri.
And so did Yuri stay with you guys throughout your entire lunch?
Yes.
And who was taking care of Yuri?
Tracy.
And what types of things was she doing?
Well, she was holding her and putting her up on the table, and because Yuri was bouncing around and everything, and we're all exclaiming with the baby and oohing and aahing. And then we finally got a baby chair, and she sat her in the baby chair. She was in her lap till we got the baby chair, and then we put her in the baby chair.
So
and
you said
Tracy pulled her kind of over toward her.
So you said y'all were oohing and ahhing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, when a baby's in a room, everybody takes notice,
Everybody
right?
takes notice.
Okay. So did you guys actually get lunch that day?
Yes, we did.
And we were kind of foreshadowed it by talking about when you left. Let's talk about that for a moment. When did you leave?
Gail had to pick her niece up at school at 1:50. She had to be in line to pick her up at 1:50. And I looked at my watch, and I said, Gail, it's 1:40. If you're going to get your niece on time, we need to leave now. And because we were getting up and getting ready to go and picking the baby up, and other people in the restaurant were looking at the baby and talking to the baby, and I said, we need to go or you're not going to make it. And so that's why we know what time it was.
Okay. And so did you guys get up to leave at that point?
Yes, we started gathering our stuff up.
And so, excuse me again, how did everybody leave?
How did everybody leave?
Yeah, did you all leave together?
Yeah, we all, well, you know how when you get up from a table, you know, this person kind of steps out and this person's getting a purse on there. And yes, we all left as a group.
And Tracy Nix grabbed Yuri?
She had Yuri, yes.
Okay. So she took her with her out of the restaurant?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And when I meant, I guess I asked a bad question. I'm terribly sorry for that. But did you all leave in the same vehicle together?
No.
Okay. Can you explain how that happened?
Well, when Brenda and I got there first, because we were in my vehicle, and then Tracy and Gail came with Yuri in Tracy's vehicle.
What type of vehicle did Tracy drive?
Lexus,
Do you remember the color of the Lexus?
red.
Okay. Continue. You said she came in her vehicle.
Uh-huh.
And so how did everybody leave? Which vehicles?
I got in my vehicle, Gail got in my vehicle, and Brenda got in mine because Brenda lives near Gail, so I would take them home. We go south, Tracy would go north.
Is that where she lives?
She lives northwest.
I got you. How far do you think she lives from there?
From Beefs?
Yeah.
I have no idea, 3 or 4 miles,
Okay, 3 or 4 miles.
I guess.
Excuse me, ma'am. Terribly sorry. And so she didn't load. So she brought Tracy brought Yuri out of the beefs, then, correct?
Yes.
And put her in her car?
Put her in her car, yes.
Not your car, her car.
No, her car.
Okay. One moment, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm showing you it's already been put into evidence as 1 and 2, but I just want to go over it with you because you looked at them too. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 1?
Yes.
And what is that?
My initials are on there.
Okay, and do you know what this is of?
Yeah, that's out inside Beefs.
Is it a video of it?
Yes,
Okay. And that shows everything we talked about here today?
yes.
And what about State's Exhibit 2?
And that is us outside getting into the vehicles.
And that's kind of what you were telling us about just now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Defense? Cross? Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Terrell.
Good morning.
You indicated that you had known Tracy for how long?
40-something years.
Okay. And how do you know her?
Through school activities and through church activities, mainly church activities.
Mainly church. All right, we'll talk about the lesser first. You said through school activities. What is your connection, relationship with Tracy Nix through the school?
School system. We would have meetings together or whatever. I was a high school teacher. She was elementary.
Okay, not the same school then?
No.
All right. And over what period of time did that occur?
On and off for 40 years.
40 years?
Or 38 years, rather.
Okay. And then I know you had answered in response to the state's question that you had known her primarily through church activities. Is that for 40 years also?
Pretty much so, yeah.
Pretty much so. And what are we talking about when you say church activities?
We sang in the choir together. We went to choir. We were at choir gatherings together. We went on several children's weekend trips together. She is one of my Sunday school teachers now.
All right. That pretty much explained 40 years with a relationship at the church. All right. So she was around kids a lot that you saw. Okay. Would it be fair to say that all of you were oohing and awing over this child at lunch that day?
Yes,
Okay. And you also indicated that Tracy was paying a lot of attention to
definitely,
Yuri.
definitely.
Okay. Did she try to find some formula for her in a diaper bag?
She had the diaper bag, and she looked in there to see if there was something in there for Yuri. And she didn't. She found some clothing and stuff.
All right. Was she do anything in connection with a straw?
Yeah, she has a glass of water, and she put the straw in there and brought up a little water in there, and then gave it to Yuri.
Okay. And one last question. You indicated that Gail Knight had to pick up her, I think it was grandniece
Yes,
from kindergarten.
yes.
Is that a routine thing that she does?
She takes her 2 or 3 days a week, and Tuesday was one of the days that she was to pick her up.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Any redirect, State?
No need, Your Honor.
All right, State.
I would ask her to be released.
Okay, ma'am. Defense, do you agree about, defense, do you agree she can be released from her subpoena?
They have this month.
Okay.
At this point?
Hang on one second.
Your Honor, defense wanted to ask another question. I don't object to that. I know he
Just
rested.
have a
with the
seat,
witnesses.
ma'am. We'll have.
Outside?
No, just have a seat here. I have one more question.
I have no objection to another question.
All right, without objection, I'll let it go this time.
I'm sure y'all were drinking at Beef O'Brady's. What were y'all drinking?
Water?
Water? Thank you.
All right, may she be released from her subpoena, defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, you're released from your subpoena. You can go out and do whatever business you'd like.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. State witness 4.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would call Brenda Knight.